Philip Andre "Mickey" Rourke Jr. is an American actor, screenwriter, and former boxer who has appeared primarily as a leading man in drama, action, and thriller films.
During the 1980s, Rourke starred in the comedy drama Dinah, the drama Rumblefish, the crime black comedy film The Pope of Greenwich Village, and the erotic drama 9.5 Weeks. He received critical praise for his work in the Charles Bukowski biopic Barfly and the horror mystery Angel Heart. In 1991, Rourke teamed up with Don Johnson and Tom Sizemore in the cult classic action film Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Also in 1991, Rourke, who trained as a boxer in his early years, left acting and became a professional boxer full-time.
After retiring from boxing in 1994, Rourke returned to acting and had supporting roles in several films, including the drama The Rainmaker, the comedy drama Buffalo 66, the thriller remake of Kit Carter, the mystery film The Pledge, the crime dark comedy drama Spawn, the action film Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and the action thriller Man on Fire, playing the role of a corrupt lawyer.
In 2005, Rourke made his comeback in mainstream Hollywood circles with a lead role in the neo-noir action thriller Sin City, for which he won awards from the Chicago Film Critics Association, the Irish Film and Television Awards, and the Online Film Critics Society. In the 2008 film The Wrestler, Rourke portrayed a past his prime wrestler. For his work in the film, Rourke received a 2009 Golden Globe Award, a BAFTA Award, and an Academy Award nomination. Since then, Rourke has appeared in several commercially successful films, including the 2010 films Iron Man 2 and The Expendables, and the 2011 film Immortals.
Philip Andre Rourke Jr. was born in Schenectady, New York, the son of Annette and Philip Andre Rourke. His father was of Irish descent and his mother had Scottish ancestry. He was raised Roman Catholic and still practices his faith. His father, an amateur bodybuilder, left the family when Mickey was 6 years old. After his parents divorced, his mother married Eugene Addis, a Miami Beach police officer with 5 sons, and moved Rourke, his younger brother, and their sister to South Florida. There, he graduated from Miami Beach Senior High School in 1971.
During his teenage years, Rourke focused his attention mainly on sports. He took up self-defense training at the Boys Club of Miami. It was there that he learned boxing skills and decided on an amateur career.
At age 12, Rourke won his first boxing match as a 112-pound flyweight, fighting some of his early matches under the name Phil Rourke. He continued his boxing training at the famed Fifth Street Gym in Miami Beach, Florida. In 1969, Rourke, then weighing 140 pounds, sparred with former world welterweight champion Luis Rodriguez. Rodriguez was the #1 rated middleweight boxer in the world and was training for his match with world champion Nino Benvenuti. Rourke claims to have received a concussion from his sparring match with Rodriguez.
At the 1971 Florida Golden Gloves, Rourke suffered another concussion in a boxing match. After being told by doctors to take a year off and rest, Rourke temporarily retired from the ring. From 1964 to 1973, Rourke compiled an amateur boxing record of 27 wins and 3 defeats, which included a first-round knockout win over John Carver and decision victories over Ronnie Carter and Javier Villanueva.
Rourke's amateur boxing record was 27 wins and 3 losses.
In 1971, as a senior at Miami Beach Senior High School, Rourke had a small acting role in the J.W. Jensen-directed school play The Serpent. However, Rourke's interests were geared to boxing, and he never appeared in any other school productions. Soon after he temporarily gave up boxing, a friend at the University of Miami told Rourke about a play he was directing, Death Watch, and how the man playing the role of Green Eyes had quit. Rourke got the part and immediately became enamored with acting. Borrowing $400 from his sister, he moved to New York, working an assortment of odd jobs while studying with Actors Studio alumni Walter Lott and Sandra Sekat. It was under the latter's tutelage, Rourke later recalled, that everything started to click.
Sekat motivated Rourke to find his father, from whom he had been separated for more than 20 years. During his appearance on Inside the Actors Studio, After the release of The Wrestler, host James Lipton disclosed that Rourke had been selected to the actor's studio in his first audition, which Elia Kazan is reported to have said was the best audition in 30 years.
Appearing primarily in television films during the late 1970s, Rourke made his feature film debut with a small role in Steven Spielberg's 1941. He played Richard, Dennis Christopher's bullying and ill-fated co-worker in the 1980s slasher film Fade to Black. However, it was in 1981, with his portrayal of an arsonist in Body Heat, that Rourke first received significant attention, despite his modest time on screen. The following year, he drew further critical accolades for his portrayal as the suave, compulsive gambler Boogie Sheftel in Barry Levinson's Diner, in which Rourke co-starred, alongside Paul Racer, Daniel Stern, Steve Guttenberg, Tim Daly and Kevin Bacon. The National Society of Film Critics named him Best Supporting Actor that year. Soon thereafter, Rourke starred in Rumble Fish, Francis Ford Coppola's follow-up to The Outsiders.
Rourke's performance in the film The Pope of Greenwich Village alongside Daryl Hannah and Eric Roberts also caught the attention of critics, although the film was not financially successful. In the mid-1980s, Rourke earned himself additional leading roles. His role alongside Kim Basinger in the erotic drama 9½ Weeks helped him gain sex symbol status. He received critical praise for his work in Barfly as the alcoholic writer Henry Chinesky and in Year of the Dragon.
In 1987, Rourke appeared in Angel Heart. The film was nominated for several awards. It was seen as controversial by some, owing to a sex scene involving Cosby Show cast member Lisa Bonet, who won an award for her part in the film. Although some of Rourke's work was viewed as controversial in the US, he was well received by European, and especially French, audiences, who loved the rumpled, slightly dirty, sordid, rebel persona that he projected in Year of the Dragon, 9½ Weeks, Angel Heart, and Desperate Hours. Director Adrian Lyne said that had Rourke died after the release of Angel Heart, he would have become a bigger phenomenon than James Dean.
In the late 1980s, Rourke performed with David Bowie on the Never Let Me Down album. Around the same time he also wrote his first screenplay, Homenoid, a boxing tale in which he starred. In 1989 Rourke starred in the docudrama Francesco, portraying St. Francis of Assisi. This was followed by Wild Orchid, another critically panned film, which gained him a nomination for a Razzie Award. In 1991 he starred in the box office bomb Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man as Harley Davidson, a biker whose best friend, Marlboro, was played by Don Johnson. In his last role before departing for the boxing ring, Rourke played an arms dealer chased by Willem Dafoe and Samuel L. Jackson in White Sands, a film noir that reviewers found stylish but incoherent.
Rourke's acting career eventually became overshadowed by his personal life and career decisions. Directors such as Alan Parker found it difficult to work with him. Parker stated that working with Mickey is a nightmare. He is very dangerous on the set because you never know what he is going to do. In a documentary on the special edition DVD of Tombstone, actor Michael Biehn, who plays the part of Johnny Ringo, mentions that his role was first offered to Rourke. Rourke has allegedly turned down several roles in high-profile films, including 48 Hours, Platoon, Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, Rain Man, The Silence of the Lambs, and Pulp Fiction.
In 1991, Rourke decided that he had to go back to boxing because he felt that he was self-destructing. Had no respect for an actor. Rourke was undefeated in 8 fights, with 6 wins and 2 draws. He fought internationally in countries including Spain, Japan, and Germany. During his boxing career, Rourke suffered a number of injuries, including a broken nose, toe, and ribs, a split tongue, and a compressed cheekbone. He also suffered from short-term memory loss.
His trainer during most of his boxing career was Hell's Angels member, actor, and celebrity bodyguard Chuck Zito. Freda Roach also trained Rourke for 7 fights. Rourke's entrance song into the ring was often Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child O' Mine. Boxing promoters said that Rourke was too old to succeed against top-level fighters. Indeed, Rourke himself admits that entering the ring was a sort of personal test, just wanted to give it a shot, test myself that way physically, while I still had time. Rourke's boxing career resulted in a notable physical change in the 1990s, as his face needed reconstructive surgery to mend his injuries. His face was later called appallingly disfigured. In a 2009 interview, Rourke said that he had gone to the wrong guy for his surgery, and that his plastic surgeon had left his features a mess.
On November 28, 2014, Rourke briefly returned to the boxing ring and fought 29-year-old Elliot Seymour in Moscow, Russia. It was Rourke's first boxing match in over 20 years. Talks of him being involved in 4 more matches were released by Rourke himself after the match. He won the exhibition fight in the second round by TKO. The fight is not counted in his professional record since it was an exhibition match. The opponent later stated that he threw the fight, having been promised payment to take a dive in the second round.
In the early 1990s, Rourke was offered and declined the role of Butch Coolidge, which later became Bruce Willis's role in Pulp Fiction. After his retirement from boxing, Rourke did accept supporting roles in several 1990s films, including Francis Ford Coppola's adaptation of John Grisham's The Rainmaker, Vincent Gallo's Buffalo 66, Steve Buscemi's Animal Factory, Sean Penn's The Pledge, and Sylvester Stallone's remake of Get Carter. Rourke also has written several films under the name Sir Eddie Cook, including Bullet, in which he co-starred with Tupac Shakur.
While Rourke was also selected for a significant role in Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line, his part ended up on the cutting room floor. Rourke also played a small part in the film Thursday, in which he plays a crooked cop. He also had a lead role in 1997's Double Team, which co-starred martial arts actor Jean-Claude Van Damme and former NBA player Dennis Rodman. It was Rourke's first over-the-top action film role, in which he played the lead villain. During that same year, he filmed another 9 1/2 Weeks, a sequel to 9 1/2 Weeks, which received only limited distribution. He ended the 1990s with the direct-to-video films Out in 50 Shades and television film Sugar, about the kidnapping of Epsom Derby-winning thoroughbred racehorse Sugar. Rourke has expressed his bitterness over that period of his career, stating that he came to consider himself a has-been and lived for a time in a state of shame.
In 2001, Rourke appeared as the villain in Enrique Iglesias' music video for Hero, which also featured Jennifer Love Hewitt. In 2002 he took the role of the cook in Jonas Adler's Spun, teaming up once again with Eric Roberts. His first collaborations with directors Robert Rodriguez and Tony Scott, in Once Upon a Time in Mexico and Man on Fire, respectively, were in smaller roles. Nonetheless, these directors subsequently decided to cast Rourke in lead roles in their next films. In 2005, Rourke made his comeback in mainstream Hollywood circles with a lead role in Robert Rodriguez's adaptation of Frank Miller's Sin City. Rourke received awards from the Chicago Film Critics Association, the IFTA, and the Online Film Critics Society, as well as Man of the Year from Total Film magazine that year. Rourke followed Sin City with a supporting role in Tony Scott's Domino alongside Keira Knightley, in which he played a bounty hunter. Rourke played the role of the Blackbird in an adaptation of Elmore Leonard's Kill Shot, and appeared as Darius Sale in the adaptation of the Alex Rider novel Stormbreaker.
In addition, in 2004, Rourke provided the voice for Jericho in the third installment of the Driver video game series. Rourke also appeared in a 40-page story by photographer Brian Adams for Berlin's Zoo magazine. In an article about Rourke's return to steady acting roles, entitled Mickey Rourke Rising, Christopher Hurd stated that actors/musicians Johnny Depp, Sean Penn, and Brad Pitt have animated praise for Rourke in his work. During a roundtable session of Oscar-nominated actors held by Newsweek, Brad Pitt cited Rourke as one of his early acting heroes along with Sean Penn and Gary Oldman.
Despite having withdrawn from acting at various points, and having made films that he now sees as a creative sellout, Rourke has stated that all that I have been through made me a better, more interesting actor. Rourke's renewed interest in pursuing acting can be seen in his statement that my best work is still ahead of me.
Rourke had a role in the film version of The Informers, playing Peter, an amoral former studio security guard who plots to kidnap a small child. In 2008, Rourke played the lead in Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler, winner of the Golden Lion Award for Best Film at the Venice Film Festival, about washed-up professional wrestler Randy the Ram Robinson. Regarding first reading the screenplay, he stated that he originally didn't care for it.
I didn't really care for the script, but I wanted to work with Darren, and I kind of thought that whoever wrote the script hadn't spent as much time as I had around these kind of people, and he wouldn't have spoken the way the dude was speaking. And so Darren let me rewrite all my part, and he put the periods in and crossed the T's. So once we made that change, I was okay with it.
He trained under former WWE wrestler Alpha the Wild Samoan for the part, and has received a BAFTA Award, a Golden Globe Award, an Independent Spirit Award, and an Oscar nomination as Best Actor. Rourke was pessimistic about his chances to win the Oscar, as he had burned many bridges in Hollywood as a result of his past behavior. Rourke lost the Oscar to Sean Penn, while Penn did acknowledge Rourke in his acceptance speech.
Rourke has written or co-written 6 scripts: Homeboy, The Last Ride, Bullet, Killer Moon, Penance, and the latest, Pain. Of these, the first 3 were produced as films between 1988 and 1996.
In early 2009, Rourke developed a small feud with WWE wrestler Chris Jericho as part of a storyline. The storyline climaxed at WrestleMania XXV, when Rourke knocked out Jericho with a left hook after Jericho won his match against Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and Roddy Piper, with Ric Flair in their corner. In 2009, Rourke starred in John Rich's music video for Shut In Detroit Down alongside Chris Christopherson. In 2009, he voiced protagonist U.S. Navy SEAL Dick Marcinko in the video game Rogue Warrior.
In 2010, Rourke played the role of the main villain Whiplash in the film Iron Man 2. In an interview with Rip It Up magazine, he revealed that he prepared for the role by visiting Russian jail inmates. In 2011, he portrayed the villainous King Hyperion in Immortals and received praise for his performance, while the film received mixed to positive reviews and became a box office success. He also had a minor role as Tool in Sylvester Stallone's The Expendables. Though he had little screen time, his performance was met with rave reviews and cited as one of the film's highlights.
Just before the end of the year, he confirmed on a British TV talk show that he would play Gareth Thomas in an upcoming film about the Welsh rugby star who came out as gay the previous year. As of February 2011, he had begun research on the film, but noted, "We're not going to make this movie until we've done all the proper research. We need to do our homework, and I need to train for from 9 to 11 months." In 2011, Rourke was cast in the film Java Heat as an American citizen shadowing terrorist groups in Java, Indonesia. The film was released in 2013.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.